Welcome, everybody, to the Sam McKee Memorial Broadcast Set. It's time for In the Sulky. And the young man who's going to climb in the Sulky for us tonight is Braxten Boyd, who's making quite a name for himself here at the Meadowlands. Braxten, welcome to our set.
How are you, Dave?
Very well, and very happy to have you on set with us tonight. Let's get right to it. Braxten, you've had such a major impact since coming to us on October the 20th when we came back from our 5 or 6 week break, and things are really going your way here at the Meadowlands.
Yeah, it's been a good start. I've gotten a lot of good horses, good opportunities from great trainers, and, just trying to make the most of it. It's not an easy place to race or anything, but just doing the best we possibly can with what we got.
Well, we've already had people on the escalator going by saying, hey, way to go, Braxten, way to go, Braxten. So certainly a lot of fame has come your way in an awfully short amount of time. But let's talk about the formative years for you. How did you get your start in the game?
I kind of just got started by my dad, a second-generation horseman, and my dad kind of groomed me, and I've been racing since I was 18.
So he's a longtime horseman?
Yeah. He got into it right when he was young, right around probably 20 years old, and so I'm second generation.
So he was a Michigan horseman for most of his life?
Yep. He was a Michigan horseman. He was actually the president of the MHHA for about 15 years, too. He's done a lot of things for the sport.
Now, in addition to being a horseman, your dad is also a race caller?
Yep. My dad's a jack of all trades, Dave. He can handle any challenge you could ever imagine handed to him. I couldn't be anywhere where I am today without my father. I can tell you that much.
Well, that's certainly a nice tribute, but apparently you've picked up the microphone a time or two as well and called some races.
Yeah, I called some races. I was better when I was 10 years old. I can tell you that.
You were better at 10 than at 23?
Yeah. I didn't do it for about 6 or 7 years, and then I went to a county fair when I was home just after COVID and tried it, and I said, Dad, I'll leave that to you. I lost that skill.
All right, well, maybe you can come up and call one or two next Friday when I'm on the microphone, right? How about that?
All right, I'll call an amateur for you.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about all the traveling that you've done at such a young age. You've been all over the country. Let's take a look at something I call I Was Born with the Traveling Bone. And this is a list of some of the tracks that you participated at. We've got New Jersey, we've got New York, we've got Minnesota, we've got California, we've got Florida. How do you account for all this traveling that you've done at such a young age?
Kind of try to, take the stepping stones. We started in Aces and Cal Expo, then kind of worked our way to Pompano, then worked our way out here to Tioga. And then once I got to Tioga, it just kind of snowballed really quickly, and we raced about everywhere.
Let's take Meadowlands out of the equation for a moment. What track has been most impactful on your career and helping you improve as a driver?
I would have to give a lot of credit to Pompano Park, because driving in Cal Expo and running Aces, it's a little different caliber horse. When I went down to Pompano, I was driving with many guys with thousands of wins: Wally Hennessy, David Miller,
right,
Pete Wren, Rick Plano, just incredible drivers with amazing amount of wins. And those guys really, really groomed me, told me when I was messing up, and made sure I was aware of it, and basically made me into the driver I am now.
So Pompano Park is a 5/8 mile track, Batavia Downs is a half-mile track, Yonkers a half-mile track, Meadowlands a mile track, Hoosier Park a 7/8 mile track. Which size surface does Braxten Boyd prefer to drive over?
I love a 5/8. I'm a little biased. That's kind of what I grew up on and what I've been driving. But I like the bigger track. I'd prefer a mile and a 5/8 well over a half mile.
And why is that?
I like having options.
Right.
You don't have options really at Yonkers. You gotta be up front. Unless they beat each other up, you're in big trouble if you got
it's
7 or 8.
It's tough to win from third over in a half-mile track.
Right.
Yeah, no question about that. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the numbers that you have amassed at such a young age. Your first full year was in 2021. 3 solid seasons and more to come for Braxten Boyd. 244 wins in that first season of 2021, and things have been rolling along very steadily right from there. Last year, 270 wins, 3.9 million, and this year it's going to be just about the same thing. So your career is on the right trajectory, it appears.
Yeah, we'll take it. If you would have told me about 4 or 5 years ago when I just got my P license that I'd be sitting up here with you right now, Dave, and I'd probably tell you you're crazy. So I'll take it.
Well, certainly that number of 3.9 million, 3.7 million, that figures to increase as the years go by. But tell me about your move to the Meadowlands. Like I said, you came here on October the 20th when we came back from our break, and ever since October the 20th, up until last night's race card, the leading driver at the Meadowlands is Braxten Boyd. Now, how do you account for that?
Like I said before, a lot of good horses, getting a lot of chances from a lot of different trainers too. Some trainers I never drove before. Linda Toscano, I drove for her for the first time last week. Just a bunch of different people that, I'm getting to drive for and get experience for and let them know my name and know that I'm capable of it.
Yeah, Linda Toscano, a Hall of Fame trainer, and another Hall of Fame trainer that you drove for is Ron Burke. Let's take a look at a race from October the 20th of this year here at the Meadowlands, the 6th race that night. And I call this Boyd pulling a rabbit out of a hat with Copperfield, a 27-1 upsetter. How did you do this?
Dave, I didn't really think he should have ever been 27-1 that day because he did show a couple good miles, and I knew he was going to chase. And I tell you what, it couldn't have worked out any better right here. We actually had one make a break in the last turn. It opened right up, and he got up right in time.
So how did you get the drive from Ronnie? Did he call you, or were you just listed?
The changes came out, and it said Braxten Boyd is driving for Ron Burke, so I said, all right, let's do good.
That's pretty sweet. Now, how about on October the 28th with a horse who really does his best work on the front end? It's BB Lucky Boy, who wins in 1:49.4. There's a lot of horsepower with this one, isn't there?
Yeah, this horse, he's freaky fast, and he's got some big lungs on him. Hopefully tonight he can maybe repeat what we're watching right now.
Yeah, it really is getting clear of the field inside the 16th pole, so he's really looking good. How about one more to look at from December the 16th, of course, very recently, Stone Hanover, a classy sort, and I tell you what, he looks awfully good going down the road here.
I tell you what, right about here, when that horse, he could see that horse on the outside of him. I mean, his class kicked right in, and right here, I'm like, knowing I'm going to win is very, very easily. He's a very classy horse, and when he saw that horse, he took right off.
Yeah, certainly. You've been so fortunate to get the drives of a lot of classy horses, and I think that's going to continue. Tonight, you have 3 favorites on the card. Let's take a look at one of them. That's number 4 in the 6th race, Talk Curdy to Me. Now, you saw what happened last week when Jonathan sat a 2-hole with Queen of Success. Does that go into your thinking tonight? You don't want to let him in the 2-hole. You do want to let him go by you and you'll sit a 2-hole. What's the strategy when you're talking about a horse like Talk Curdy to Me for tonight?
Well, usually you try to avoid what happened last week and wanting to win the race. This is a good race going for 27,000 here. And hopefully, luckily, John's outside of me, and hopefully I can make him cut it tonight.
All right, well, that's going to be one of 3 morning line favorites that Braxten will be handling on the Saturday night card. No big mystery there. Since October the 20th, not only does Braxten lead the Meadowlands driver colony with 19 victories, he also leads in starts with 169, and hopefully that trend will continue. Braxten Boyd, continued success, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on In the Sulky.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll be back in about 1 minute. Anthony Stabile will jump in that chair. It's time for Braxten to get to work. We'll take a look at tonight's featured action right after this.